Yes, the Flow Friday Night Sports Show continues on, and I tell you what, Flow man,
Yes.
KNT Football and Netball, they are chomping at the bit to get going again, but they've had to wait an extra week. Now, my mail is a certain senior coach at the Lucindale Football Club has asked for an extra week off because there's quite a big event in the Coonawarra this weekend. Let's find out if any of that is true. We'll bring him in now. Sammy Graetz, first of all, how are you, mate? Welcome back.
Good to be back, guys. How are you, Wayne, Jace?
Yeah, real good.
It's been a long await, 12 months sitting back, listening to all some other leagues get going. And I'm very excited to be back.
Yeah, I tell you, we're excited too. But apparently the rumour has it that you are going to be involved in the Coonawarra's very, very important After Dark, and there is a little competition going on that you're a champion at. Now, I was told that you were a champion footballer in your younger days, but now I'm told you're a 6-time winner of the grape stomping competition.
It is. It's a big night, Coonawarra After Dark. It's a bit of a celebration of finishing of harvesting down at Coonawarra, and the Giorgios hold a grape stomp competition every year. I think we first won it all the way back in, it might be 2008. We haven't won 6 yet, Wayne. Tonight is the big night.
Oh,
we're going for our second three-peat, a bit like the Chicago Bulls.
Oh.
You know, I'll probably liken myself to the MJ. I carry the side.
I figured you'd have to be the MJ. So if that's the case, who's the Scottie Pippen, the one that does actually all the heavy lifting?
Scottie Pippen. Well, Josh Kay, he's the scrutineer, so he walks down with a torch at the other end of the vineyard, and he sits there. He's the other one that's probably been in every one with me. Doesn't do much work, but he makes sure the other groups don't cheat. So he's an integral part.
Well, look, before we get to the footy, I have to ask a couple more questions. So how does this work? You get in there barefoot?
Yeah, so the boys, there's 4 runners,
right,
and they run down 100 metres, pick up a bucket of grapes, come back, dump it in the barrel. Once the 4th runner's come back with his bucket, I jump in, stomp the grapes, and then you've got to fill up 2 wine bottles full of juice and put them on the table. And it sounds easy, gentlemen, but there is a fine art to stomping grapes. You can't let that sieve get blocked. You can't let the funnel get blocked. There's some technique involved.
My last question, sorry to jump in on your flow, man, but I have to ask one more. So what happens with the freshly stomped juice that goes into the wine bottles? Does that then become a vintage of some sort, Sammy? Because I don't want any. I really don't want any.
I hope it doesn't. I wouldn't want any either.
They do a fine product out there, but I'm not sure that's one of them, Flo, man.
No.
Hey, Sammy was famous, wasn't he, for taking a high mark where his sprigs stomped on some bloke's head, but...
I mean, he's got size 18 hoofs. He's like the sideshow Bob of full forwards there in Lucindale. So no wonder he goes all right in the grape stomping. We should talk some footy at some point, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
How are your boys looking, Sammy? You are the captain coach this year, so to speak, or the playing coach. How are your boys shaping up?
Playing coach, not. But no, looking good. The boys have all been really keen on the track. So, like you said, we're still one more week away, but it's just been great getting out, doing a pre-season. We were probably lucky enough to do a pre-season last year, but then we just stopped, short of the season. So we were at least fit for 3 months. But no, everyone's really keen, and the talk around the town is the league's looking extremely strong. So that's always exciting, knowing it's going to be a really good competition. So everyone is absolutely chomping at the bit.
Yeah, okay. A couple of things have happened since we were talking KNT. We had the advent of the Limestone Coast football competition, which did feature Mundalla and also Kaibi Bowline. They both come back into KNT this year, have played a season of football, albeit a shortened season, Sammy. Do you think they've got an advantage now, a significant advantage over the other KNT sides?
Oh, not... in my opinion, no. To be honest, for us, especially, we're an ageing list, so a year off for some of us has been quite handy. But I just think, you play your summer sports, you seem to do everything in the country, so no, I don't think it's going to be a big factor. What will be the big factor will be just, who's been managed to keep everyone keen over the summer, keep their list. Being a year away, some people might have gone elsewhere, whether they've liked it and then stayed away. That was obviously going to be a big challenge for us down here. But once again, I have heard, I know for us here, we had a few blokes play in the city or play for other clubs, but they've all come back. So that was probably going to be our biggest hurdle, just making sure we maintain players and, just get them all back to the KNT, which I think everyone has done quite successfully so far.
One of the big losses that KNT unfortunately has had to suffer is, it's a loss on two folds. Obviously, a loss of a club to the league, not a loss of a club overall, but more importantly for you, Sammy, a loss of an opportunity to get one up on me. Carnivore, of course.
Carnivore.
They have moved back off into Horsham Districts League. You'd be sad to see him go because I know you guys in that league are all pretty tight.
Yeah, we certainly were. Like Carnivore, I do feel for them. They were the only club that is fully in Victoria. Obviously, Francis have a foot in both sides. But really, I didn't see any other option for them, unfortunately, because if it happened again, they wouldn't be able to come over. So it is very sad. And, the last thing you want to do is see teams leave your competition because you want to grow. But for them, I can completely understand they want to play footy this year, and that would have given them the best opportunity. The District League, that'll present a good opportunity for them. So there's positives and negatives against it. Obviously, we hard to see them go, but I think it was the best thing for their club in the end, in making sure they play footy, and that was what it's mainly about.
And of course, in the off-season too, a lot of junior kids have gone up to town to play at Glenelg, and you've lost a couple of really good ones that are now playing in AFL squads, which is great to see. And then Kingston have had the same happen with young Pedler going up to the Crows. So it's been a real great find for this area. You look at down there at the Mandala side, they've got Hinge that's up there playing, albeit he's injured on the Crows list at the moment. This has been a really terrific breeding ground for AFL footballers, including the reigning Brownlow medalist in Lachie Neale. So, Sammy, you've got a lot of great juniors that have gone on from this competition to play AFL.
I think, and this is just me being pretty broad here, but I think college football's got a lot to thank for that as well. In the past, I would have thought back when, maybe 10, 15 years ago, there probably weren't as many kids going to college and getting exposed in Adelaide. The only way we used to go up there is you'd get a call from the Glenelg or the Sturts and you'd go up there, play a game, feel like you weren't included, and you'd come home again. Whereas now the kids get to go to good boarding school, they get to be up there, get a good environment, and that helps them transition over into central footy. And I think the more and more kids, I suppose with farming doing better, being able to send the kids up to college, I think that's been a really good stepping stone for kids to get up there and actually want to stay there. Back in our day, most kids wanted to come home because they got homesick. So I think college has probably been the biggest thing for these kids as a good little stepping stone for them. And I think just kids down here are getting noticed now. They're looking at country kids, which is fantastic.
Mate, that's such a good point. And I'll tell you what I'd love to do. Some of the country kids that have been drafted, I can think of at least half a dozen off the top of my head. Many of them have been to boarding school. Think of Harry Petty in my old home patch.
Yeah, Woodner.
Yep. So no doubt that's a really good point you make. To finish off with today, mate, I'm going to ask you to look into that crystal ball that you have at your disposal. Obviously, Lucindale are going to win the flag this year, being that you are the head coach. So who do you think you'll be beating on grand final day?
Well, I actually think it's going to be a really close group in the top 6 or 7, and I think you could chuck some names in there like Padthaway. Bordertown apparently have recruited really well. Keith have done really well. I mean, you can never go past Mandala. They're always up there. Narracourt have picked up really well. So I think it's actually going to be a really exciting year. Early wins are going to be imperative. So I'm really excited because there's nothing better than, going out every week and knowing it's going to be a really good really good contest, so it's exciting.
Just got a text message from Graham Excel too, by the way, so I'll read that in the break.
Yes.
Just let man, you take over from here while I try and respond to this and smooth things over, all right?
Yep, that's okay, because the Moots down there at the Swamp are going for 4 in a row after 2 KNT premierships, then the Limestone Coast premiership, and now coming back for 2021. We are back. Everyone's back. It is exciting, and we are looking forward to this season as we get to another season of KNTFL, and great to have Sammy Graetz, the captain coach of the Lucindale Football Club, on board. We'll catch up with you next week when we're actually playing in earnest, Sammy.
I know, exciting times. Thanks for having me again, guys.